Okay, you ready for the show, man?
Yeah, I got like one or two more things to go, but I'm pretty much good to go.
Alright, bet, sweet. Let's do it. What are these little baby stretches? What are you even doing, bro?
I do this before every show.
I've never seen you do that before.
What?
Never.
Every show.
Is it good luck?
No, I just do it tonight.
Alright, whatever you do, bro.
Welcome back to 94 Feet this great Saturday morning, the most innovative sports show on Blaze Radio. My name's Kade Cameron. I'm with Danny Stipanovich today. And as usual, Danny, what do you got on today?
Today on feet, got the fire red fours again, nothing new. Got some sweats, early morning today. I was a little lazy to throw on a fit, so throw on the sweats. But I'm repping the Angels up top, second best record in the MLB. Little shout out to my LA teams.
Not bad, not too bad. I was going to say that 2002 World Series championship here, that's not too bad. So I'm going all black, but one thing you mentioned last week that I kind of want to do too, I kind of want to start bringing back those shoes that I haven't brought in yet, So I got the Paranoise Peace -1 Air Force Ones, the very first ones that they put out, the all black pair with the white sole. Some of what they did with the opposite with it, where it was the all white with I think it was still black sole, maybe something like that. But yeah, I got
haven't seen those.
I was gonna say a little bit different. I think this definitely didn't get as much hype as the ones that came out recently. But besides that, black cargo shorts. I thrifted this Carmelo Anthony shirt back when he was with the Nuggets, which I think is pretty sick. And then a Hat Club exclusive. I don't know exactly what collection it is, but that's whatever. We're keeping it simple with you guys today because, of course, we're coming down to the end of the semester. We got some stuff going on. We're going over NBA playoffs, fit of the week, and we're bringing back Sneakerson, something we haven't done in a while, but let's get right
Should be good.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be a fantastic show. But let's get right into it. We'll be starting off with the first playoff series. We're just going down in order. We're starting with the East. We got the Heat and the Hawks. Heat up 2-1 right now. Danny, how you feeling about this series and where everything's standing right now?
I mean, I want to say I predicted Heat in the sweep, and I was feeling good about it. And Trae Young obviously just hit a game winner last night, and then Jimmy Butler kind of sold on the end. But I'm not worried about the Heat. I think they'll take care of the Hawks in 5. Hawks, they've just been struggling defensively to keep up with Miami, and I was surprised that the Hawks pulled it out last night. But I still see Heat in 5.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, I said it last week, Heat in 5. I said Trae Young's going to have one big game in Atlanta.
Oh, you're right. You convinced me.
Yeah,
we both said Heat in 5. Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, when you're looking at the Heat right now and your one loss this postseason's come from a 1-point loss to the Hawks, that's not too bad right now. I mean, you're only 3 games into it, but it could that's a game that could have gone in your favor. That was one possession from going in your favor, so... yeah, obviously the Heat looking really good. Jimmy Butler's one of those guys that I feel like when the postseason comes around, he just shows up when it's needed, So that's been a massive help for the Miami Heat. I think Heat in 5 is still solid. I think they're doing a fantastic job. One of the most underrated number 1 seeds in NBA history, as a lot of people like to say. So, I mean, I feel like there's just not much to talk about there. It's I think plain and simple. Trae Young had a big game again in Game 3. But again, same thing. I think Hawks aren't standing a chance in this one. Heat in 5 still. One that I feel like, again, it's been a good series, especially that Game 1 Nets Celtics.
Oh, man.
That was a fantastic Game 1. I mean, if you saw, I put the TikTok out there, but Kade also introducing the 15s, the KD 15s. But besides the point, strictly basketball right now. Celtics up 2-0 in the series with Game 3 tonight. It's looking good for both teams. I mean, Nets aren't playing bad basketball, just that the Celtics are outplaying them right now.
I mean, I think it's over for Brooklyn. I think we both said, or I said Celtics in 6. I'm not sure what you said.
I think it was either 6 or 7.
Yeah,
but
you took the Celtics too? Yeah, okay. I mean, for the first time in my viewing career, whatever you want to call it, I've watched NBA for a long time. KD has always been just so dominant, and for the first time in Game 2, he couldn't dribble the ball.
Yeah.
Like, they're figuring out KD. Kyrie Irving, he's going to put up his stats, but like we said, the Nets, they just don't have depth. They're throwing bodies at KD, and now they're getting Williams back in Game 3. Is Ben Simmons? They're hopeful he's going to play in Game 4. But Kate, I'll ask you: do you think Ben Simmons coming back in Game 4, is that going to be too late?
Well, I mean, I don't think anything's really technically too late when they're already counted out of the series when the series begins. It's going to be good seeing Ben Simmons start his I guess Nets career in Brooklyn. That's going to be a big help for him.
If he plays, yeah.
Yeah, if he plays, that's the biggest part. I mean, I know he's scheduling to play Monday against the Celtics in that Game 4 matchup. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's as we mentioned last week, you're talking chemistry issues possibly because you're throwing a new guy in the mix this late in the season when realistically there's a good chance you're going down 3-0 in this series by the end of the night. So it's going to be interesting seeing what Ben Simmons is going to do for that team. It might be a little bit of a momentum builder for the Nets. I mean, it could be like a morale booster in a sense, but that's really all I see Ben Simmons helping with. So at the end of the day, I mean, you could still see Brooklyn take this series 6 or 7.
I don't see that. No way.
No, I was going to say, I'm not seeing it either. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah.
But with Ben Simmons coming in, again, like I said, at most you're looking at a morale booster. But if you're talking 10 minutes in the game and he hasn't done anything, that's already shutting them down like that, And actually, I would make the argument, if you're the Celtics, screw it, put Robert Williams on Ben Simmons right away. Just to get in his head, just to keep him down, kind of keep that momentum down for the Nets. Because as I said, they're going to use Ben Simmons as much as a momentum builder for that crowd, and if he's not doing anything, that crowd's going to turn on him incredibly quickly. So, yeah, like I said, I feel like at most you're going to see him as a morale builder, but that's about it.
Real quick, I just want to just clown on KD and Kyrie. Kyrie, what has he done without LeBron?
Yeah.
What has KD done without the Warriors?
Well, I was going to say, saw what
this Nets team has been a colossal failure. That's all I gotta say.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think the most we've seen Kyrie do in a Nets uniform so far is flip off the fans in Boston. Have some nice things today. That's a $50,000 fine, but yeah, I mean that's really all we're gonna see out of KD and Kyrie. I feel like, and I mean, who knows how long we're gonna see Ben Simmons play with those two as well. It's interesting. Let's just put it that way. I think this is a colossal failure for the Nets, and I think we're seeing that right now in this playoff series. But we both. What are we saying now? I mean, I know we said Celtics and I'd say 6 last time.
I'll stick with 6.
Okay, no, I'll keep that there too. I think Nets have been playing it close enough to where they can win 2 more. But we'll go on to the next one. A kind of surprising one in my opinion because I thought this was possibly going to be a sweep. Bucks Bulls. Bulls with the big Game 2 win in Milwaukee. Obviously, they come into Game 3, get blown out by 30. But the biggest storyline out of this now is the fact that Chris Middleton's going to be out for what looks like to be the remainder of the series. That's going to be incredible. I mean, that's just going to be interesting to see how this Chicago Bulls team kind of answers back to Milwaukee. Because I feel like from what I've seen over the past few seasons, especially the last season coming into this season, if they're just playing with Giannis, the Bucks are a beatable team. It's Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton that have to step up and put up some big points in order to actually see them make big wins. So
I mean, yeah, Giannis needed a big 3 before Drew Holiday got into the mix. It was Giannis and Chris Middleton, and that just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was whatever. I mean, they made the playoffs, but they weren't a strong enough team. But now you're taking Middleton out of this. You're looking at this as a momentum booster for Chicago, especially going into Game 4 being played in Chicago. Like I said, I mean, you're talking.
Ooh, I think the series is over, Cade.
Are you?
I'm still taking the Bucks.
No, I'll still take the Bucks too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, as of now, without having Middleton, again, you're relying very heavily on Giannis to put up big numbers because, as I mentioned, it's either you're going to have Giannis put up big numbers and the Bucks are going to lose, or you're going to have Giannis put up big numbers with either Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton putting up big numbers with them. One or the other. It doesn't have to be both, just one or the other. And then the Bucks win. That's what I'm looking at. That without Chris Middleton, and I think Chris Middleton was the more reliable option compared to Drew Holiday. If Drew Holiday isn't putting up big stats, again, like I said, the Bucks are literally and figuratively limping into the second round. So, and that's kind of what I'm getting. Like I said, I still think the Bucks win this series, but again, it's weird to say that Middleton isn't their superstar. It's not their number one guy. But he's still a big enough dude on that lineup to make a massive impact on that team. So,
I mean, we're seeing a flurry of injuries all of a sudden this round.
Exactly.
Luka Doncic, your son's D Book, Chris Middleton now. But I don't think you clowned on the Bulls enough, Cade. I mean, this Bulls team, Chris Middleton goes down, and they lose by 30 points at home in Game 3 after DeMar DeRozan puts on a show in Game 2, puts up 41 points. He follows that up with, 11 points?
Yeah, that's not good.
Patrick Williams, he put up 1 point in 30 minutes. Zach LaVine, 15 points. Caruso, 6. Kobe White off the bench, 6 points. This Bulls team completely no-showed. I still think this series I think the Bucks are going to be fine. I was interested to see what the Bulls were going to do last night, if they were going to build a wall around Giannis, and they kind of did, and it kind of worked. He only put up 18 points, but the role players stepped up huge. Grayson Allen, 22 points. Where did that come from?
Oh, I know.
Pat Connaughton hit some good shots, but I was like, I remember I fell asleep at halftime during the Bucks and Bulls game, and I saw the Bulls went up like 30. I was like, what a joke of a team. This Bulls team just completely collapsed. No defense. I think the Bucks are going to be fine without Chris Middleton. If he's out, I agree with you that is going to be a huge problem next series.
Yeah, next series.
For sure. But I think for now, the Bucks are fine. Get healthy, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I agree. Bucks are gonna be good. I think I initially had the Bucks winning this series in 4. I'll take it 6 now. I think Bulls. I mean, they've won 1. They can at least win 1 more. You know what I'm saying? So I got Bucks winning this one in 6. Obviously, it's the next round. Whoever they play then, that's gonna be the issue. Let's go on to the next matchup though. Oh God, one that you're terribly wrong about. Sixers Raptors. Sixers are coming out incredibly strong. Joel Embiid putting up numbers for that team.
I mean, it was 2-0. The series was 2-0. Game 3, Doc Rivers almost pulled a Doc Rivers at the end of overtime. If you saw that isolation play, final shot, he just gave Joel Embiid an ISO at the top of the key.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, there was the Doc Rivers choke potential. Now, Joel Embiid saved Doc Rivers. You know what else saved Doc Rivers? Scotty Barnes. I hate to say it. Scotty Barnes went down Game 1. I want to say kind of like the heart and soul, it felt like, got ripped out of the Raptors. They already play a tight rotation. To lose Scotty Barnes in Game 1, that I feel like that was such a tough loss. Now they're starting Kem Birch.
Ooh.
They're playing off the bench Precious Achiuwa.
Yeah. Hey, Precious is pretty good though. Like, I was gonna say he can put up numbers when it's needed. So
he can't put up numbers, but that Scotty Barnes injury was huge. I was completely wrong, but James Harden is still not playing. Oh, Tyrese Maxey is also just going crazy.
I mean, he's another guy that's shown up significantly during these playoffs.
Who I doubted. I remember saying, like, is a sophomore in the league going to be able to have big playoff games? And I was wrong. He proved me wrong. So I was wrong about the series. I still think the Sixers are going to choke eventually, but I was just wrong about this one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense to see that happen with the Sixers. And like I said, I mean, I see the Sixers going to the second round, maybe Eastern Conference Finals, but I didn't really see them going to the NBA Finals. Now I'm kind of changing my mind on that. I can definitely see them getting there. I mean, they're strong enough to get there. Joel Embiid showing that, I mean, if he doesn't win MVP during the regular season, that he's going to take that a little bit personally and try making his stats make up for it in the playoffs. So, no, I was going to say, I don't see the Raptors bouncing back from this at all, especially with Scotty Barnes out. So I got Sixers in 4 now, I think. I think it's a sweep, All right, we're going from the East to the West. You alluded to it earlier, Devin Booker's injury, obviously a massive impact on the Phoenix Suns. Up 2-1 in the series, had a close game against the Pelicans, Game 3. I'll say this right now. I honestly don't see Devin Booker's injury really playing or it shouldn't play a massive role until the Western Conference Finals. I think Suns win this series. I think they're still going to win it in 5. They're going to go on to the next series against either a Luka or possibly a Luka-less Dallas Mavericks team or a Utah Jazz team that just doesn't have the chemistry right now. Again, like I said, Devin Booker's a huge loss, but realistically, the Suns team shouldn't lose without him still.
I mean, to the Pelicans, you're saying, or
Pelicans
just in general? Like
No,
so
not just in general, because
Okay.
I mean, we'll talk about it later. Warriors are tearing it up, though. I can
Right.
see them losing to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals if they don't have Devin Booker back. Even if they do have Devin Booker back, there's a possibility that the Warriors win that series still. But just as of now against the Pelicans, this Pelicans team, really, you look at it, isn't even a team that should be here at the moment. But at the same time, it just this Suns team, it just they very much should win without Devin Booker still.
I feel like Devin Booker is so tough to replace, and we saw it last night. Chris Paul or Crunch Time Paul last night was just in the clutch, could not miss a jump shot. But we saw like last week, it's just tough to replace Devin Booker. Chris Paul, I don't want to say replaceable, but like you can still run an offense without Chris Paul. You have someone that can get you a bucket, but there's no one really other than, or I guess D Book is the best shot creator on that team.
Exactly.
Right, that's fair to say. Chris Paul was cooking in the pick and roll, and the Pelicans, they just kept switching on the screens last night. Larry Nance Jr. kept having to guard Chris Paul by himself on an island, top of the three-point line. I think the Pelicans are going to make some adjustments, and I have them taking Game 4, and I think the series is going to be closer than you think, Cade.
I mean, it's definitely going to be closer. One stat that I saw that definitely made me happier is that in the absence of Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton finally stepped up, you know?
Ooh,
Finally
you
got
sure?
it. Yes. Did you see his game yesterday? 17 boards, 28 points.
He had like 0 points in the fourth quarter, though.
I'm fine with that. He's doing better than he did the past two
That's
games.
true.
I'll take that right now. Don't get me wrong. That entire team needs to start stepping it up. I mean, you look at some of the stats from last night in particular. This has been a consistent thing throughout the entirety of the playoffs so far. Jay Crowder, 34 minutes and only 10 points. Cam Johnson only had 8 points.
Yeah.
Mikal had 17. That's not too bad. McGee, 15 off the bench. 0 for Bismack Biyombo. I mean, never mind. He didn't even play, really. Campaign only had 3 and 13. Shamet had 5 and 30. Like, it's not necessarily that this team is not doing well. It's just that they've been relying so heavily on their star players like Chris Paul and Devin Booker that they need to start picking up the slack. I mean, going back to last year's playoffs, we saw what Jay Crowder did in the first round. He played defense on LeBron, and that was about it. I'd be surprised if you didn't see his game 1 stats: 1 point, 1 board, 1 block, 1 steal in 28 minutes. That's terrible. I mean, these games, don't get me wrong, I mean, Suns are up 2-1, but these games are way closer than they need to be. There's no reason that the Pelicans should be sticking around at that late in Game 3, even with Devin Booker out. They've got to step it up without a doubt. They've got to get that role playing the way they have in the past season, especially when Chris Paul was out. That whole team came together and made it work out for them. They went 11-4 without Chris Paul. How is this happening? Why are the Suns now not getting that support they need when it comes to playoff time? What's happening? That's my issue with the Suns right now. They're taking it in 5, but they need to step it up. All right, I'm sorry about that.
Do your thing.
Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Like I said, Suns in 5, but let's go. Okay, I'm reading that right. Grizzlies, Timberwolves. Gosh, what a meltdown in the fourth quarter. That was bad for the Wolves.
I was working, and I have no idea what happened. Like that doesn't even make sense, that meltdown in Game 3.
Yeah, that was just, that was bad. I mean, and think about that, too. You're talking about Wolves being up 2-1 in the series if they didn't melt down. That's a massive step up for the Wolves. That's so tough for them. I mean,
my biggest takeaway is something I alluded to before the series started, and unfortunately, Karl Anthony Towns just isn't that guy.
Yeah.
It's technically his team still, but what have we seen him in this playoff run? Karl Anthony Towns, no show against the Clippers, got bailed out by Patrick Beverley because he a fun stat, in like 2 out of these 3 games, Karl Anthony Towns has more fouls than made field goals.
That's tough.
He got mic'd up last night or 2 nights ago. We're in Minnesota now. And then they blow that lead like that. Karl Anthony Towns, unfortunately, he is a max player. You're gonna have to pay him whatever he wants, the max deal. He puts up the stats. Not the greatest shooting big man according to him, but he can't be. He's not your number 1. Unfortunately, he can't carry a team yet, and we've seen him in the league long enough where it's time for him to step up. But to put up 5 and 8 in Game 3 at home to take the series over, it's time to hand the keys to Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, no, I agree. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have the real playoff experience behind him, but at the same time, There's no reason why that. I mean, you're talking about a guy who could have been an all-star starter, possibly, or at least there was discussion that he could have been an all-star starter. You can't come to the playoffs and choke like this. You've got to step it up, especially being that number one option for the team, a number one option that you've been for such a long time now. It's something that he's got to really work on and look at himself to make sure he's ready for Game 4 in Minnesota, because if he doesn't get it clicking here, he's not going to get it clicking in the rest of the series, even if he does get bailed out again. Little interesting stat, Timberwolves are 2-0 when somebody protests their owner on the court, so maybe they need something like that to happen, get somebody to chain themselves to the backboard or something like that again, glue their hand to the floor, whatnot. It's plain and simple. If Timberwolves couldn't keep that lead against the Grizzlies in Game 3, they're not winning this series. I think I had the series going 7. I think there's a chance it could still go 7, but Grizzlies are relentless. They're going to keep fighting, and I'll knock it down to 6 now, I think.
I'll stick with 5.
I
said 4. I'm going to say 5 now.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's no other option. It kind of has to be 5. But all right. Next one, I was terribly wrong about this one. Warriors Nuggets. Warriors are hot right now. They're scary good right now. Oh my gosh, that's scary.
I mean, I feel like they're being a little bit overrated, just a little bit. I know everyone's calling them, the Splash Bros plus the pool party, but I know the Nuggets. I just feel like people are overreacting a little bit too much to this series, because the Nuggets, they don't have the guard play to keep up with the Splash Bros and Jordan Poole. I mean, Jordan Poole just playing out of his mind. But like I said, Jokic is by himself, and that's about it. The Warriors should be cooking him up. Draymond Green just showing you why he could have been Defensive Player of the Year. And in Game 3, just pickpocketing Jokic, who, I'm sorry, he might be the MVP, but if you're starting a team, Cade, is Nikola Jokic like a top 5 player you want? Like, do you want a center? Do you want to build a team around center?
Especially right now, I take somebody like Jokic.
I'm not like centers. I feel like just overrated right now. We're seeing it right now before our eyes how important guard play is.
See, guard play is good, but the issue with the Nuggets right now is that it's not that they lack guard play; they just lack a healthy lineup right now. It's not. And again, like, defending centers. I mean, you look at some of the top players in the league right now. They're centers. I mean, the 3 MVP finalists are big men. So you're talking about...
And they're not going to win the finals.
That's... I mean, okay, maybe not Jokic, but you're looking at Embiid possibly making a finals run, and so same thing with Giannis. I mean, Giannis won it last year.
Are we calling Giannis a center?
We're not calling... Oh, I'm calling him a big man, not a center.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, he's a forward. I know that, but it's... And I mean, even then, like, as a forward, he plays like a big guy, So it's just...
I feel like there's a big difference between Jokic and Embiid and Giannis.
No, I mean, there's big differences, but at the same time, I mean, you look at a guy like Jokic, he's such a versatile player that if you do develop that guard play around it, it doesn't have to be elite guard play, but as long as it's good, solid guard play, it works out. Like, I mean, if you were to switch out somebody like Luka and Jokic, and you gave Jokic the wings that the Dallas Mavericks have right now,
I disagree.
Okay, okay. But no, I definitely get what you're saying. I can see them being a little bit overhyped just because of this Denver team just being so shallow when it comes to the players they have to throw at them. No guard play. Jokic can only do so much on the court. Warriors, I think, sweeping the series.
Yep.
All right, last series, the one that's probably getting the least amount of attention, Mavericks Jazz. Honestly... Wow. I didn't say this last week. I could say it this week, though. This could be a coin flip, It makes sense. Jazz aren't that great of a team. Dallas realistically should be cruising through this series. I mean, once they get Luka back, they'll be a little bit better off. We don't know when that is going to be exactly, but he's feeling good, as it says on ESPN.
I'll breeze through this real quick because I want to get to Fit of the Weekend,
exactly.
Sneakersons, but... I said it before the series started. It's time for the Jazz to split up. Rudy Gobert, you can't be paying a center this type of money to be your number 2 option. Donovan Mitchell, it's time to move on from Utah. Dallas, Jalen Brunson completely impressing me, taking down the Jazz. I thought they were going to miss Luka for 1 game. They're missing him for 3. Now he could even rest more. Give me the Mavericks in 6. Still.
Yeah, no, I think it's shaping up to be Mavericks in 6. I don't think Utah's strong enough. I'll leave it at that. All right, that concludes our NBA playoff talk. Make sure you tune in next week to make sure where we're at. Also, real quick, next week's our last week being in the studio for the semester, so we'll make that one a special one. Let's go into Fit of the Week real quick. Danny, we'll start with you.
I'll keep it real quick. I'm going with Scotty Barnes. Should have been Rookie of the Year. Or is Rookie of the Year. Should have been playing this series, and they would have taken down the Sixers. Anyways, Cargo's sweet jacket up top. Got the kicks. Check it out on IG. It's a fire fit.
I'll say make sure you vote on Instagram and Twitter, 94 Feet Show. That's a good one. I like the Letterman right there. I'm going with Jaren Jackson. He's put together some great fits during this postseason run so far, and it's still pretty early on, so who knows what else he's got going on. But he's rocking Jordan mids, unfortunately. He pulls them off, but I mean, the pine green Jordan mids, or maybe not pine green. One of the green Jordan mids. And it's like you got this weird like flannel tracksuit. Not weird. I like it. That's why I'm rolling with it. But I mean, end of the day, he just pulls it off, and I think that's the thing that makes that fit good is he's pulling it off.
Do or die for you this week. Vote on socials.
I'll say vote on Instagram, Twitter. Vote for me, hopefully, because I don't want to have to be the one wearing the crazy fit. Instagram, socials, 94 feet. 94 feet show. Let's get into Sneakerson, something we haven't done in a while. We'll make it short. We'll make it quick. Danny, what's your Sneakerson for this week?
Kade, I'm guilty of this. I plead the fifth. Guilty as charged. Whatever you want to say. If your Air Force Ones start to get a little creasy, start to get a gray, the white on whites, if they get a little gray, it's time to retire them. It's time to put them back.
So no sorority girl stuff?
No creases. They should be flat on the ground. They should be white. If once they're not crispy, it's okay. Just go buy a new pair. My shoes, my Forces are all beat up now, so now they're my work shoes. I'm waiting for a new pair, but I'm not rocking dirty Air Force Ones around anymore. That's just not happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't see. Here's my thing. I think there's no real issue with having any dirty shoes. I think as long as you're wearing them the right way you're supposed to. I mean, as I alluded to.
This is just Air Force Ones, the white on whites.
I want to say, as I alluded to, I mean, how many people do you see around a college campus wearing beat Air Force Ones, all white beat Air Force Ones? I mean,
you got 1 minute, K. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it ain't the best look, but I understand. With me, I think my big thing, and this is what I did very early on as well. I'll go on sneakers. I'll find a shoe that I like, but it's just kind of an odd shoe, you know? Like, the first shoe I ended up getting was a pair of, on sneakers at least, was a Black History Month Kyrie 3s, I think. Which is, like, it's a fantastic basketball shoe. Like, it's a great look. But I tried, like, rocking them like they're, like, actual sneakers, you know? And, like, I didn't have the best fits. I alluded to it the last time when I did my sneaker sins, where I just kind of put together, like, not the best fit with a nice pair of shoes. Tried doing it with that, except it was a pair of basketball shoes. You know, like, obviously you've got the right basketball shoes in the right places. I mean, all the Jordan silhouettes and whatnot, but, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, the people who rock, like new basketball shoes as, like, fits,
keep them on the court.
Exactly. Keep them on the court. Try getting something new for on feet and style.
Hey, we're all guilty of that, too.
Exactly. No, it's happened. We're keeping this episode a little bit shorter, but we thank you for joining us today.
Hey, stay tuned on our socials. Big announcements coming soon.
Oh, big announcements. We're going to be making
show next week.
That last show in studio next week. But, hey, we got some things planned, like I said. We thank you for joining us this Saturday. Make sure you vote on Instagram, Twitter for Fit of the Week. And for one last time before next week, we'll see you